A prince marries his cousin, but one night overhears the gossip of two slave girls and learns that she is committing adultery with a black slave. He found this to be true by following her and attacks the slave and leaves him for dead. But his wife rescues the slave and tests to him for 3 years. Confronting her, the prince is ready to kill her, but as he was known, unbeknown to him, that she was also a sorcerer, she puts a spell on him, making him half a stone and half a man. She also put a spell on their city, turning 4 islands into 4 mountains, the city into a lake, and the citizen into fishes. He tells the story to a king who has come from another land. The young man's story moves the king, who devises a plan to free him from the enchantment. The king goes to where the woman has kept her black slave former lover, kills him, and passing as him, disguising his voice, starts deceiving her into undoing all she has done to the prince, his lands, and his subjects. And then the king kills the woman sorcerer as well. The king's heroic intervention, the curse is lifted, and the city and his people are restored to the former glory. The young man who had been bewitched is waiting for the king and expresses gratitude for his deliverance. The king offers the young man the choice to stay in his own city or come with him to the king's city. The young man reveals that the king's city is far away and that he will never leave the king again. The king is overjoyed and declares the young man as his son. They embrace and rejoice together. The story concludes with a sense of justice and fulfillment as a fisherman whose action indirectly lead to the liberation of the bewitched city is rewarded with health and his daughter's noble marriages by marrying the king and the prince. The king appoints his vizier as the sultan of the princess city and the Black Islands, and they all live in joy and contentment.
Regarding to the question, what type of genre is this story? Well, it can be categorized as a mix of adventure, moral, and fantasy. It contains elements of adventure through the journey of the young man and the king, as well as the magical and dangerous situations they encounter. The moral aspect is evident in the themes of justice, loyalty, and the consequence of betrayal. The fantasy aspect is seen in the magical spells, curses, and the supernatural events that occur throughout the story. For example, the transformation of the city and its inhabitants. These examples illustrate how the story embraces elements of adventure, moral lessons, and fantasy elements.
For the question 3, the story of the tale of the young man and the fishes depicts a variety of attitude toward life, death, and God. About life, we can see the value of family and honor. The prince's initial rage over his wife betrayed reflects the importance of family, honor, and loyalty. We can also say that the characters in the story demonstrate resilience and determination in the face of adversity, and finally, the acceptance of fate. The prince is transformed and endures for years, possible suggesting a degree of acceptance of fate. About death, it is seen as a normal part of the story and is deemed as a necessity in order to come to a solution to problems being present. About God, there is a belief in the power of divine intervention. The young man, who is the main character of the story, faces numerous challenges and injustice but remains committed in his faith and hope for deliverance from God.
For the fourth question, analyzing what are the roles of women in the story and how the roles differ from stories about men, we can say that the main character plays various roles in terms of woman, including that she was a wife, and a magician, and a lover. As the wife of the princess, she is depicted as manipulative and unfaithful. As a sorcerer, she uses magic to transform the land, the people into fishes, and her husband into half human, half stone. As the lover of the black slave, she is submissive and in love. These women differ from traditional stories about men in that they are depicted as using cunning and sorcery to achieve their goals, rather than rely on physical strength or bravery. Additionally, the women in the story are shown to have significant impact on the plot and the fate of the male characters, highlighting their influential roles in the narrative.
The tale of the young man and the fishes serves as a cautionary tale against various vices such as jealousy, adultery, and dishonesty. The story depicts the consequences of these vices through the characters' actions and their subsequent suffering. For example, the young man's wife adultery led to the bewitching of the kingdom and the transformation of its inhabitants into fishes. Her dishonesty and betrayal of her husband result in his torment and suffering. Additionally, the story highlights the destructive nature of jealousy as the man was willing to kill his wife and her lover. Ultimately, the tale serves as a warning about the detrimental effects of these vices on individual and society as a whole. Thank you very much.